Hello and welcome to Homestead Imaginations. I am Josh and I'm going to be trying to get my tomatoes to trellis up my new trellis I put in. I did show it in my garden update for May. So it's a little wobbly. You can see the fences. This is reused cattle paneling that was put in a cylinder, so I tried to straighten it out as much as I could. Some I was able to straighten out better than others. I definitely learned a better technique as I went along, so this back one's better than the front one. I put this one in first and then realized, like, all right, I need to get them a little bit straighter, so they're better, which makes gonna be trellising these a little bit harder if they're kind of gapped from it, but basically, I'm sorry if I'm not good on the video here. It's hard to see and basically film. So you got these clips here that I'm just going to use, and I'm just going to bring the tomato plant right over. Let's try and adjust this so I can go a little bit higher. No, that's not doing it. What's this one? There we go. There we go. So, got this lovely little tomato plant, and it's doing really well. All the tomatoes are actually doing really well. Problem with these is they're kind of gone a little crazy. I should have trimmed them a little bit better. So I'm already realizing, like, I've definitely made some mistakes. I'm trying to, let's see, get that there. Pull that through. I mean, that's not terrible, but that's also not ideal. So we'll see. I do want to, let me grab the scissors. So while I'm trying to, oh, I got the stick. I'm getting poked. On top of getting these to trellis up this and be secured, I also need to clean up the bottom. I should have done that when I planted these, but I did not. I am going to just snip all these lower ones. Anything that basically touching the ground is no good. This one I'll actually bring up into the trellis, so that's off the ground. But you don't want your leaves hanging off the ground, because they will more likely have rot if they're on the ground with the bugs and the diseases. So let's bring that leaf up, that branch up there. They're all kind of saggy. And then that revealed a couple weeds here that need to come out. I try and get them from the root, but it doesn't always work that way. There we go. Oh, I got one of them. There's another one there. But this will open it up so we have better airflow. I might need to see this here. This is like a whole new shoot that's like literally growing a whole nother plant here. So I might actually, I don't know, it's very thin at the base here. It's hard to see, but it's very thin. It's actually thinner at the base where it's connected than it is going out. I feel like that's going to break anyways over time. But I also, look at, I got some tomatoes growing. These should be, I don't have the list right next to me, but these should be paste tomatoes, either the Amish paste or the San Marzano. You know what, I'm gonna cut this one. I'm gonna cut this one all the way at the base. I think it's gonna be too weak. I mean, look at that. That's a solid grouping, but like it was leaning over really, really badly. So I don't want that. So this one, I'm gonna bring a little bit over and bring that to there. It's a little short. I had to wait to get these all trellised up. I think I'm gonna pull this one over slightly. I don't really like that it's... Next time, I'm gonna plant these, like I tried to space them out better, based off like, I forget, it was like 18 inches maybe apart. Yeah, I think they're about like 18 inches apart, but I need to space them where they're along like one of the you know, the upper parts that's going up, so I can secure these, because this one's growing like right in the middle, so I'm trying to secure it, but now it's going to pull the plant kind of sideways, which I don't really love, because I did put like a gap here. I didn't put it straight on the ground. Again, with this one, I'm going to cut this really low one. No need for it. I'm also going to cut, like this is a sucker that's growing. I'll leave that one. I don't mind suckers. Like I'll cut some, but suckers aren't necessarily awful if you got a good setup and good spacing. So right now, like I don't see any issue with leaving this giant sucker that's literally growing into another plant. That's fine. Look at these. These are healthy looking tomatoes. So paste tomatoes and all that, that's all new for me growing this year. So that is exciting. I think, yeah, I'm going to cut this one too. Same thing. Even though it's like really healthy and it's big bushy, it's going off to the, too low to the ground, and I want to try and keep everything up. So like this is, just by me doing this opened this plant up significantly, both these plants. So they'll have better airflow. They'll be less likely to have any kind of issues. It'll be easier for me to spot any like hornworms, which I think I found poop on one of the plants, so I might already have some this year. So that'll be a pain in the butt. They're not terrible, but they're obviously also not ideal. So I'll just do one more for the video's sake. Let's see. Yeah, this one. This one's at least really close to like a vertical bar here, so this one will be a lot easier to trellis successfully and have it not be too big of an issue. I want to grab it by the trunk, but it's a little low. I don't know if I like that. I'm not gonna do that, because then it's gonna pinch those too much. So these are stuff that like I'm gonna have to come back out and as things grow, kind of change them, unclip it, reclip it in different spots. So the plant is in a good, healthy situation. Also, so I don't, like if the plant grows up and gets too thick for the clamp, then it's just gonna cut off the circulation and it's gonna be an issue. So this one actually, geez, this plant has a lot of downward growth. So that's a lot of leaves just hanging off the ground. And for whatever reason, all these plants, like, they all kind of hang low. Not sure why, but I'll just stretch these up here. And this is opening this up tremendously. And plus now I can definitely see the bottom. But yeah, all these, I just cut off. This one had three of these that I just cut off because they were too low. Hopefully you're seeing this. And I'm actually going to cut this other one because it's touching the ground. So this way, I'll leave all this top stuff. It's a little thick on the top here, but it's not terrible. I'm hoping as it grows, it maybe spreads out a little bit, because this one is kind of growing that way, and then this one is going kind of more straight, and I can kind of pull it this way if I need to, because there's a big gap between these two. So that's what I'm gonna try and do here. I'm just gonna basically do this with all the tomato plants. I'm going to tie them all up and we'll see how it goes. Never trellised tomato plants before. I've always put them in like a typical tomato cage and they always grew over it, and then the thing always toppled over. So I'm hoping they do a lot better. Let's just give a quick tour of all the other stuff. Like there's some healthy tomatoes there. A nice big one there starting. This one's got a nice one. I've got my basil over here. This one's got a couple right in there. I think this is maybe a cherry, one of the cherry ones. I definitely don't have them memorized. I have to look at my little mapping that I've got. That one's got tomatoes, so they're doing well. They're flowering. Everything is going well. I just got to get them off the ground and trellis so that way they grow more straight. Some of them are leaning pretty hard, so. Basil plant I need to do some trim work on because it's starting to bolt. It's been so hot. But there we go. So that's what I'm working on today. One of the things I'm working on, I worked on my beans as well. Trying to move them over because they didn't quite germinate successfully. Ooh, this pepper plant's not looking very great. Very flimsy. I think got a weak joint here, and I think the wind is kind of beating this one up. So that one's probably not going to make it. I wonder what that one is. It's one of the hot ones. That I only grew one of, but yeah, I'll get this all fixed, cleaned up. You'll be able to see better. Cut off some of the lower branches that are definitely kind of like yellowing out. Give it more airflow, and these plants will really start to thrive. So I'm excited for trying this trellis. The other thing I was going to do, and I almost did it, but then I realized I had these cattle panels that I just had to like flatten out, was building like a wooden frame that went across the garden, and then you do the string method, because that just seemed easier. You just bring the string down and you just kind of wrap the plant around it, and then it'll just grow up it, and you don't have to keep making any adjustments. Besides maybe putting string around horizontally to keep everything kind of in so it doesn't fall out kind of thing. Because as it grows, I'm gonna have to unclip and clip, unclip, unclip, and clip. I think, maybe not, but I would assume, I would think I do, but first time doing this, so I'm excited to see how it goes. It's definitely not gonna be any worse than what I've done in the past. Like I said, those little tomato cages that are only like 3 feet, maybe 4 feet tall, the tomato plants always grow above it, and then they just topple over. The wind blows them, the plant struggles. So this should help with keeping them straight. This should help with all the other aspects. So tomatoes should do really well. Plus we're growing a lot more this year, obviously because we're trying to grow everything for a year. Tons of slicers, tons of paste tomatoes, so we can make lots of sauce, and then use tomatoes for salad and all different things. So it's an exciting year. A lot to try, lot that we're trying for the first time. A lot of new stuff, going big. This is our biggest garden we've ever had, the most plants we've ever had. Trying new things, learning a lot, failing at a lot still, but it's failing at new things. There's not too many things that I am like failing at still, like things that I failed at in the past, besides maybe like the broccoli and stuff like that. I didn't put the shade cloth out soon enough, and where I'm growing them, they get full sun, so all my greens, the brassicas, they always bolt on me, and I don't really get much of a harvest, if anything. So I'm thinking about, I might put a garden right behind the garage, because it will only get sun in the morning, and then all afternoon and into the evening it won't get any sun. So it'll be in the shade, it'll be cooler. I'm hoping that does the trick. So if the shade cloths don't work this year, I'm probably going to put another garden behind the garage, is what I'm thinking right now, just to get that working. But other than that, like, everything seems to be doing better. The tomato plants, I didn't start them as early as I did last year. Last year I started them way too early, and it was a huge issue. They got way too big, and they got too big this year too. So like, I am even adjusting the tomatoes again. You don't want them flowering when you got them in the basement. If they're flowering, that means they're kind of root bound. That means they're like, I'm done growing for the most part, and they really stop pushing that, and they start pushing all their energy towards their flowers. So you don't want that, and I did have that with the tomato plants, even though I did make an adjustment from last year, but the adjustment did help. It's not as bad as last year, but I need to add a little bit more time, start them not as early. Even the pepper plants, I'm going to start a little bit later than I did this year. Even though, like, I know people that start them even earlier than I started them, but like, I had them flowering and they're not really growing very tall. So like, I want my plants to be healthy and want to grow the whole time. And when they start to flower, they kind of almost shut off their growing and pushing their roots deeper, and which will push the plant bigger. So tomatoes are doing good. I'm excited. Again, for like the 5th time, apologize. Maybe one day I will get better about my rambling. But I get too excited. That's my problem. I have so much, I just want to talk about this stuff nonstop. So thank you for watching, and I appreciate all the support I get, and all of you who are watching my videos is greatly appreciated. This is such a fun journey. I'm happy to be on it. It's exciting, and I'll definitely make a video about, you know, the status of how everything's going this year and like how I'm doing. I was gonna do that yesterday, which if I made it yesterday, it probably would have been a little too raw, because I was having one of those not so good days, just feeling like things weren't going right and things were going wrong, and so would have been probably a little too raw, but we'll see. I'll make that video soon. I think it's helpful to hear of other gardeners who are struggling, even though we love this, but it can be a lot, and it can overcome us at times. So it's good to share those moments and share that with others, so other people know that they're not the only ones going through these issues, facing these things. You know, we all get through it, and we all experience it as well. So I'll catch you next time. I started rambling again. Keep the imagination rolling. Bye bye.